Changes Naruto by Drake. Chapter 31. Enter the forest. Minato stared into Ichi's eyes. I've got a top secret mission for you. Triple S class secrets will be a part of this mission. Ichi nodded. Why me? Because you're almost as powerful as me. You might even be on par with me. The mission is to track down a certain man and kill him. Minato handed Ichi the folder. Here's the information on the talk. Memorize it with your Sharingan and burn it. Ichi nodded and began reading. Name, unknown. Allies, Toby. Processes, Sharingan. Can go intangible and teleport. Black spiky hair. Spiral mask with a single hole in it. Then Ichi looked at the picture, seeing a man with a spiral mask and a hole in it. You don't have a picture of his face? Minato shook his head. Also, he's very skilled with fire and wind jutsus. He was the last seen in Iron Country, but with his teleportation, he could be anywhere. Ichi nodded and stood. Shall I go now? Minato nodded. I want this man dead. Do not try and apprehend him. Naruto opened his eyes, sensing something nearby. He sat up, eyeing the tree line. Then he spoke. Sasuke, stay in here and guard care. I'll take care of them. They're barely Chunin level. Sasuke nodded and placed a hand on the sword he'd stolen from Orochimaru after he was defeated by Minato. Naruto exited the cover to see 2 men and a girl walking out of the bushes with sound headbands. Give us Sasuke Uchiha. We want to fight him. The one who looked like he stole Kakashi's haircut yelled. Naruto scoffed. Yeah, I think not. He aimed his palm at Naruto. Fine, I'll just blow you away. Slicing sound wave. A blast of compressed air rocketed from his palm. Naruto made no effort to dodge, allowing the black orbs to turn into a shield in front of him. The black hit the sword and didn't even scratch the strange metal. Then Naruto moved at his top speed, punching him in the stomach faster than he could even see. The girl threw a Senbon at him, but Naruto used his Kazi no Yori to hurl a wind spear at her. The remaining man used his metal gauntlet to block the wind spear, but at a great cost. It cut cleanly through his gauntlet and arm. Ichi blended into the crowd of the city of Iron Country, easily becoming inconspicuous. Ichi is almost as powerful as Minato when he was nearly blind. Now that he can see, he's on par with the Yellow Flash, though Minato could still win because he's faster, and Ichi has a virus that is slowly killing him. The virus is very deadly, and is directly affected by how much chakra he is using. Ichi knew of this debilitating weakness, but still remained a ninja, using chakra every day. He knew it would kill him, but he'd die on his own terms. Ichi's eyes flipped to the Sharingan as he felt a chakra level beyond that of most shinobi. He quickly found the person a couple 100 feet away. The person was tall, with gray hair, red eyes, and a red scythe, and a black cloak with red clouds. The man jumped high into the air, gripping a scythe in an overhead swing toward Ichi. In the name of Jasmine, die, bitch! Ichi cursed, then pushed the civilians away and dodged in an oppressive manner. Then fired a fireball into the sky. They got the civilians to flee in terror. Pain said you're good, but holy fuck. Anyway, cunt, I'm here to kill your fucking ass. The man shouldered the scythe. Ichi smirked. Do you kiss your mother with that mouse? Even after I stabbed her to death? Then he charged again, but thanks to Ichi's Sharingan, he may as well have been moving in slow motion. Ichi pulled his short ombu sword and deflected the scythe and stabbed the man in the chest. Never rush a superior opponent. The man laughed loudly. I didn't. Then swung the scythe again, making Ichi jump back in surprise. Ichi noticed that his shirt had a clean cut in the chest, but it hadn't broken the skin. I stabbed you in the heart. How are you? Not dead. Thanks to this fucking awesome power, Jasmine. I'm a motherfucking immortal. The man yelled, pulling Ichi's sword from his chest. Ichi shrugged. He was way stronger than this freak. He just had to obliterate the body. Chapter 32. Ichi versus Zombie-chan. The man grinned at Ichi, grabbing a scythe. with his right hand. Ichi looked around, scanning the area with his Sharingan. What's your name? Why does it matter? The man grunted, his stab wound completely gone now. Ichi shrugged. I'd like to know the name of the man I'm about to kill. Hyjin, I should warn you. Stronger than men than you have tried. Ichi's eyes went from Sharingan to internal Mangekyo Sharingan instantly. I doubt that. They both shot forward, leaping into the same time. They clashed mid-air with so much force that the wind around them kicked up. You have impressive physical powers, Ichi remarked. So did your mother, Hyjin chuckled. Ichi's red eyes began to glow, and a dark red aura of chakra surrounded him, followed by a giant spear of all monster, with a giant orange blade of pure energy in his hand. If you want to survive, get down on your knees now. I'm not your mother last night. Hyjin was then swatted away with the blade like he were an insect. The blow sent Hyjin's body hurling through the air and into a building, carving into a wall. Hyjin stirred moments later, cuts and bruises disappearing in seconds. Ah, that hurt like a bitch. Come here, fuckwad. Ichi cursed. No matter how many fatal wounds he landed on the man, it just kept coming. Hyjin laughed melonically and began swinging his scythe even faster. Your stamina is incredible. Ichi started, but Hyjin interrupted. So was your mother's. Hyjin laughed, taking a brutal kick to the chest from Ichi. Ichi glared. You've got so much wasted potential. Your speed, your strength, and your stamina are completely honorable. Your durability and regeneration are like a Kazi Ginkai. You're very talented with that weapon. You could have been an incredible shinobi. Too bad you're so stupid. Hyjin laughed, cracking his neck. Want to know something funny? There's no fucking way Jasmine would let me die. His canines enlarged and his fingernails grew to points. Now I'll show you what I can really do. Hyjin shot forwards towards Ichi, almost twice as fast as before, and threw a punch. It carried so much force that when Ichi summoned Sanzo, the punch damaged it. Ichi let him get close and brought the sword of his Sanzo down on Hyjin, absorbing him into the lethal blade. Congratulations on making it through the forest. Now I will explain what's next. Minato and Uzumaki stood in front of the teams that passed the second part. In 1 month, you will be put into a one-on-one fight with each other and a tournament-style matchup. The winner will get more chances to make chunin. But if you impress the judges and you can be made chunin even if you lose the fight. The fight will be chosen at random and will be read aloud by me. Now, Garia of the Sand versus Samuraki Naru. Kuboto versus Naomi Uzumaki. Rock Lee versus Kara Uzumaki. Naruto Uzumaki versus Sasuke Uchiha. Hunta Hyuga versus Neji Hyuga. Tomura of the Sand versus Konoha of the Sand. Train well, and may you all have luck in your matches. Naruto bumped fists with Sasuke. Wanna bet on a fight? Sasuke shrugged. Alright, what's the bet? Loser has to wear an ugly orange jumpsuit for a week. Naruto grinned. Sasuke's eyebrow raised. That's oddly specific. Did you just come up with that? Naruto nodded. Yeah, I have this perfect image of the ugliest jumpsuit ever. Chapter 33. Stage of Karma. The man stood up in front of several dozen kneeling men and women. He was tall, long white hair, muscular, pale, blood-red Rasengan eyes. He wore black pants and boots. He had seals all over his torso, red over his left side, blue over his right, that went down in his arms and ended at his wrist. He stood in front of a dozen men and women, and each of them had a set of Funjutsu jutsus over one side of their bodies, alternating between blue and red. I have given you all power. Each of you possess a weakened half of the deal I wear. given you powers of a demigod. As a god, I have nearly limitless powers, and you are all now greater than you were. What are you? One of them asked, as he stood, his still growing a bright red energy. Talon grinned. The stage Akama, eldest of the Moon Clan. Or as you may know us, Oshiku Clan. Sasuke cursed in pain, placing a hand over his left eye. My brother has already chosen his champion. I believe it's high time I chose mine. Do you accept the powers of the Sage of Six Paths? An elderly man with horns stood in front of Sasuke, holding a sword in his hand, offering it to Sasuke. Sasuke looked at the blade, feeling ancient powers humming inside of it. What is it? The second part of the powers I'm giving you, known simply as the Infinity Blade. It grants the usual endless supply of natural energy and control over the elements. Coupled with the Rasengan, you will have the power equal to your friend, but like him, you must learn to use it. The man handed the sword to Sasuke and marveled at its beauty one more time. The Infinity Blade had a white, silver blade that glistened in the light, a curved tip even though the blade was straight, 2 inches wide. Several extreme level fun jutsus enchanted into the blade. The hand was a beautiful blend of metal that seemed to invite to touch it. Almost disappointingly, the sheath was plain black. Thanks, sage sir, Sasuke bowed lowly. The old man scoffed. At least I've got one that has manners. Then he faded from view, leaving Sasuke with the blade in hand, standing beside Naruto and Kara. Sasuke! Naruto waved his hand in front of Sasuke, getting him to jump slightly. Yeah, he said, looking staged. Naruto laughed. You've been staring at the wall for like 20 minutes. Sasuke looked at the blade in his hand. I think I just meant the Sage of Six Paths. Naruto raised an eyebrow. Like when I was a kid? Sasuke nodded. I think so. He gave me the... What the hell happened to your eyes? Kara yelled loudly. Indeed, Sasuke's eyes had a ripple pattern similar to the Rasengan, but with the Sharingan tomes in it. The old man said he gave me the Rasengan, but I guess he did. Then Sasuke activated his Sharingan. Its perception is better than the Sharingan eye. The Rasengan didn't move or even glow, but it still looked powerful. Wonder what power it has. Then Sasuke vanished in an instant, appearing behind Naruto. I guess one of its teleportation, Sasuke said, surprising Naruto. Naruto's mouth opened wide. Why? Why can't I do that? Sasuke shrugged. Guess I'm cooler. Whatever. I'm in charge of protecting the earth. Naruto crossed his arms and squinted at Sasuke. Apparently you need help, Sasuke smirked, hand resting on the Infinity Blade. Naruto smirked. How about this? When the tuning exams come, we bet on who wins. Beat me and I'll accept your help. What are you talking about? We're basically equals if you don't use the cloak, Sasuke replied. I won't be holding back and you shouldn't either. Naruto held out his hand for Sasuke to bump it. Sasuke did so and smirked cockily. Train hard and get strong, then I don't want an easy victory. Me either, Naruto replied. I think you boys are forgetting that there are other participants who could beat both of you, Kara interrupted. Sasuke scoffed cockily. Not likely. We are around Junin level at this point. Without my new powers and Naruto's cloak, we are probably stronger. Chapter 34. Final rounds of the Chunin exams. Citizens of Konoha, welcome to this year's Chunin exams, Minato yelled proudly. The crowd cheered loudly, and the contestants behind Minato tried to look confident under the gaze of the audience. Naruto grinned slightly, 5 orbs now orbiting his body. He wore black, metallic arm guards over his forearms and black fingerless gloves. Sasuke wore a beanie that held his black hair back, and the Infinity Sword hung on his left side. His Rasengan eye was peered at the cloud and the chakras. Kara had a staff on her back and a blade on one end. Naomi looked the same but had her Harashi kunai at her sides. Hinata was missing a hoodie and had arm guards similar to Naruto's but in a lighter color. Everyone else looked much the same. First match, Gaara versus Samari. Minato called out. Pass. At my level, that would be too much of a drag. Shakami said boringly. Minato's eye twitched. Winner by forfeit, Gaara. Next up, Rock Lee versus Naomi Uzumaki. Everyone left the arena, but then Rock Lee grinned. Let this be a very youthful fight. Naomi smiled slightly and raised her right fist to eye level, with an elbow bent parallel to the ground. Left foot bent so that her toes were only part of her foot touching the ground. This was the same fighting style her father used, hummingbird style. Rock Lee dropped into an iron fist stance. Begin, Minato commanded. Instantly, Rock Lee charged, trying to punch her. Naomi easily swatted the fist away, pushing him back into an instant, fluent motion. Lee, take him off. I know you're tougher than this. My style relies on my speed. If you want to stand a chance, you gotta use everything. Lee nodded and removed his weights, sitting them gently on the ground. Naomi pulled her high-string kunai and held one in each hand. Lee moved again, only this time, he fucking vanished. Naomi shot forward in a similar feat, but they met in the middle, dodging and matching each other's attack. Naomi jumped back and threw her kunai. Shadow Clone Kunai Jutsu. The one kunai became hundreds and all of them flew towards Lee. Lee grinned and crouched, then moved at a much higher speed than a few seconds ago. He appeared underneath Naomi and kicked her in the chin. When her feet left the ground, Lee jumped after her. The bandages on his arm unraveled and twisted themselves around Naomi. Then Lee began sprinting them towards the ground so fast that it became a blur of motion. The impact was huge, creating a 10-foot crater and dust clouds. When the dust cleared, only Lee could be seen in the rubble. Naomi was sitting beside her kunai, looking dizzy but unhurt. She teleported at the last second. Lee stood up and tried to stand, only to fall back weakly. I can't continue, Lee said disappointingly as Naomi walked over and helped him. Winner by submission, Naomi Uzumaki. Minato called out. Next up, Naruto Uzumaki versus Sasuke Uchiha. Naruto leaped into the arena and landed gracefully. Sasuke smirked and teleported, making Minato's eyes widen. He got a teleportation jutsu? He asked himself, then shook the thought from his mind. Begin! Sasuke pulled the infinity blade while Naruto's orbs orbited him enthusiastically. Want to know something funny? Sasuke asked suddenly. Naruto shrugged. What? After today, everything changes. Sasuke then teleported, appearing behind Naruto with a downward swing. Naruto dodged, and the black orbs wrapped around Sasuke's limbs, holding him into position. Naruto walked forward, looking bored. Is that all you've got? Sasuke smirked and whispered, Almighty push. A blast of gravity smacked Naruto into the arena wall, 100 yards away. The black orbs left Sasuke and softened Naruto's landing. What the hell was that? Naruto yelled. Gravity comes with the eye. Sasuke pointed his infinity sword at Naruto, letting out a bolt of lightning. Naruto's orbs deflected the electric attack, and Sasuke smirked. Guess I'll need to go all out. Sasuke gripped the sword with both hands and closed his eyes. Black triangles went from his eyes to the bottom of his cheeks, and when he opened his eyes were glowing purple with larger pupils. With all the natural energy, it'd be a shame to waste it, huh? Naruto nodded, grinning slightly as his eyes became slitted and started glowing orange. His orbs also glowed. Finally, Naruto's right hand gained the Sage Cloak. The random parts of his body lit up with it momentarily as well. The only part that didn't change every couple of seconds was his right hand. Time for a real fight. They both shot forward so fast the sound barrier broke and deafened the crowd. Chapter 35, War. Naruto and Sasuke grinned at each other, anticipating this fight, when all of a sudden, people in the audience began to fall asleep. Naruto looked at them. Sasuke, do you feel that? It's Genjutsu over the stadium. Sasuke nodded. I can't feel it, but I can see it. Then all hell broke loose. Gaara released his inner demon. Sand and Sound Ninja began attacking, and explosions were heard across the village. Naruto sensed large summons wreaking havoc at the gate. Shit, Sasuke, head to the walls of the village and deal with those threats. I'll take care of Shukaruku. Why do you get to fight the one-tailed demon? Sasuke asked, annoyed. Because you're faster than me and you can get there in time to stop more death. Now go! Naruto leaped from the stadium floor and to the Kage seats. Hokage-sama, I'll take the one-tailed. You're better suited to take out enemy ninja. Then he jumped toward Shukaruku. Minato could argue. Naruto landed on the tip of Shukaruku's nose and yelled, making Shukaruku cross his eyes to see him. Hey, Gaara, wake your ass up! Shukaruku tried to swat him away, but Naruto jumped straight up. Shukaruku was blasting buildings apart with large wind attacks, and Naruto narrowed his eyes. I won't let you hurt my friends. He raised his right hand above his head and willed 3 of his orbs to fuse just above it, making a bright orange and very warm. Naruto aimed towards Shikuraku and yelled once more, Stop it, Shikuraku! I can't guarantee your container survives this attack. In response, Shikuraku fired an air blast. So be it. Heaven's wrath! The orbs exploded in Shikuraku's direction like an almighty beam. It cut right through Shikuraku and blew the ground under him apart for several hundred yards. The blast used up Naruto's reserves and left him barely able to move, relying on his orbs to float him safely to the ground. As Naruto looked into the scorched center, he saw that there wasn't even a body left from Gaara. His stomach heaved at the thought of his first kill, but he stumbled when he touched the ground. Naruto's visions blackened, and he was close to fainting when he saw a group of ninja around him preparing to attack, followed by a flash of red. Sasuke grunted at the sight before him. Several boss-level summons, being ridden by were tearing the village apart. Leafnen were trying to fight, but there were very few successful Leafnen. In fact, the only ones strong enough to fight and weren't on missions were Might Guy, Asumi Shino, Kakashi Hokage, Garna user Zuba, and Minato Uzumaki. Sasuke glared at the snake and suddenly almost blind by the bright orange-yellow beam of intense light. Show off, Sasuke whispered annoyed. He swung the infinity blade towards an approaching snake, lighting it on fire and carving a hot blade through its head. When he used gravity to stop the building from crushing civilians. Move, damn it! He yelled, straining against its weight. The frightened civilians moved, and Sasuke let the building drop gently. Interesting powers you got there. Sasuke turned at the sound of a voice to see a man with pale skin, blood-red eyes, and short black hair that laid smoothly down to his eyebrows. He had red markings starting under his left eye and stretching down his left side, all the way down his arm. Sasuke was perplexed by the flow of the man's chakra. It was erratic, almost like an adrenaline-fueled heartbeat. Who are you? The man smiled, a fake smile that showed a set of fangs. My name is Sai. I have a master here. Now, I've got a father, and he insisted that I meet you today. Sasuke was ready for the lightning-fast sword sweep, blocking it with the infinity blade. With his Rasengan eye, he could see the intense spread of Sai's perception. And with a little chakra, he matched the speed, watching everything around them happen in a slow motion. Sasuke grinned into the man's eyes, just as a black and red energy contrast grew from his shoulder and swatted Sasuke like a bug, sending him skidding. I have powers you wouldn't believe, Sasuke-kun, and I would give you similar abilities if you accept the Karma Seal. Sai stalked forwards like a predator approaching its prey. Sasuke slapped the ground, making a slab of rock fly towards Sai. The black and red energy deflected the earth and moved tendrils spreading from his back. "What the hell are you?" Sasuke asked, annoyed. The man grinned as his power coated his arm and part of his face. Sasuke breathed out, focusing solely on his chakra. Mixing lightning, fire, and wind chakra was extremely difficult. Sasuke's blade was coated in a purple aura like fire. Sai laughed at the sight. That ability had an ominous feeling to it. Want to see true power? The red substance surrounded his body, bones protruding from his joints, ribs, spines, bone claws, and tails that connected from his spine, and all of his teeth sharpened. The creature Shai had turned into looked like a demon, and it roared like a monster. The beast shot forward so fast it flickered from view. Sasuke pushed Sai away with an almighty push, but instead of being flung away, it dug its feet into the ground and was only pushed back a few feet. Sasuke teleported to dodge a powerful swing of both fists, then used his sword to slice open Sai's back. Sai whirred in pain, but recovered quickly, watching the sword more closely now. Sasuke made a fist, lifting Sai into the air. "Got you." Sai responded by firing a beam of bright red condensed energy from his mouth directly at Sasuke. Sasuke barely reacted in time, bringing his hands to catch it and absorb it. The impact made him slide back, but Sasuke breathed in relief as the blast was pulled into him, boosting his chakra pulls. Sai fell to the ground as the gravity chakra holding him up receded. Then a yellow flash in front of it knocked it back. When Sasuke saw it again, he noticed a small piece of paper on Sai's forehead and glowing chains wrapped around him, snapping him to the ground. Sai roared in defense as Minato appeared next to Sasuke. "Sasuke Uchiha, I'm giving you full promotion to Chunin. I'm charging you with finding as many civilians as possible and getting them to safety with that teleportation power of yours." Sasuke nodded at the order and vanished a moment later. Minato did the same, killing as many sound and Saiyanin as he could. And a bloody orchestra of death. He was the Yellow Flash after all, the Butcher of the Rock. Naruto opened his eyes to see his sister in front of him, with a kunai protruding from several spots on her body. Naruto's eyes widened. "Naomi, no!" He tried to stand but fell back weakly. Why would you do this? Because I love you, big brother. You act like a pig dummy, just like that. You're both too stubborn. I'd do anything for you. If it means dying for you now, then I'm okay with that." She fell to her knees as blood loss started to get to her. Naruto shakily stood and moved to her. The wounds were deep, too deep to be healed by normal means, but his chakra could heal if he wanted it to. Kama had told him this. "Naomi, I'm just gonna help you, hold still." Just as his hands lit up with the yellow chakra to heal her, a kunai pierced her skull, killing her instantly. As touching as that was, I got shit to do. A Saiyanin laughed. Naruto laid his sister down gently, tears falling from his eyes. "Ah!" Naruto roared with so much power that the ground trembled, as if the earth were scared of him. His body lit up with a yellow and orange flame. Markings appeared in the flames. The airs became so dense with his power that the ground broke apart. Wind blew dust and clouds in all directions. Naruto's fists were clenched so tightly, the blood seeped between his knuckles. The nin that killed Naomi was paralyzed with fear at the show of rage and power in the front of him. Naruto slammed his fist into the ground, sending cracks along the ground and shifting the earth. Then he glared at the man and whispered, "You killed my sister! I'll kill you." Chapter 36, War Part 2. Minato stood atop the Hokage mountain, staring down at Naruto as he released a fury and power that could shake even his own resolve. Minato had tears in his eyes, and his heart broke seeing his daughter untouched by Naruto's powerful chakra. "We were so wrong. Naruto was the one from the prophecy. We tried to save the world, and we might have just destroyed it." He fell to his knees, full of emotion, anger at his teacher, despair for his children, regret for his decisions, anger at himself. The list went on. Minato saw his son fighting for not just his life, but for the village, his comrades, his loved ones. Pride wailed in Minato's chest, and he hurled a kunai past his son into the chest of an enemy nin, and then teleported with a Rasengan in his hand and his kunai. He ripped the kunai from the man's chest and pushed the Rasengan into the wound, killing him and hurling him through the group of oncoming enemies. Minato looked to his son surprised. Naruto, I'm not the best father, but I can't give you some excuse to make it better. But today I want to fight by your side. Please allow me that. I know I may never be able to make it up to you, but let me have this at least. Minato begged. Naruto grinned. It doesn't change anything, you know. Minato nodded sadly. I understand. Let's put this battle to an end. Naruto struck forwards, wind pushing things away from him. Then they shot forward so quickly they vanished. Rows of enemy nin were killed almost instantly, sliced from blade and full of holes littering the nin. Body parts flew through the air, and the ground was coated in blood. Minato had a blade in each hand while he was slicing them into the pieces, blood littering his clothes. Naruto was using pure taijutsu except for his trusty orbs, which were shooting out and obliterating enemies at long distances. Sasuke walked closer to Sai as the red energy receded into his seal. Why was there an attack on the leaf? Sai smiled oddly. Because Father thought it would be fun. Even without the snake saying to lead the charge, a significant amount of damage was done. Besides, it also gave us an opportunity to study the village's powers. Sasuke glared down at him. You aren't scared of dying. It wasn't a question, but a statement. Sai shook his head, chuckling slightly. Not in the slightest. Good. Sasuke drove his glowing purple blade through Sai's heart. Hours later, people of Konoha, we have survived an attack on our village. We have been victorious. Minato stood atop the Kage building as he addressed the people. We beat the enemy at the cost of many sacrifices, my young daughter being one of them. Today the rest of us are alive because of their bravery and honor, skill and determination. Among our heroes are a few genin I will be promoting at this moment. Hinata, for your courageous and effectiveness and skill with your abilities, I promote you to Chunin. Sasuke Uchiha, for your combat skills and bravery against the most powerful opponent and resourcefulness, I promote you to Chunin. Finally, Naruto Uzumaki, for your cunning mind and skill, raw power, and sheer determination, I promote you to Junin. I would like the three of you to come by my office to receive your jackets. Then he vanished in a flash of yellow light. Naruto was stunned. No one had ever skipped Chunin rank altogether, so he and Sasuke and Hinata all headed towards the Kage Tower at a leisurous pace. Hinata squeezed Naruto's hand. She spent the battle at the academy defending the young students from enemy attack. Are you okay, Naruto-kun? Naruto nodded. Yeah, Hinata-chan, just overwhelmed. I felt your chakra spike all the way at the academy. It's so powerful and bright, almost like the sun. What happened? Hinata asked, stroking her thumb across his hand. Naruto sighed sacredly. Naomi, she died protecting me. I went berserk. She nodded sadly, thinking of something to say. Sasuke interrupted. Naomi died? How long ago? He sounded almost urgent. A few hours ago, at most. Why? Naruto asked. Sasuke pointed at his eyes. One of the powers the eyes give me is I can bring people back to life within a certain amount of time. But it will be cutting it close. But I think I can do it. I've only ever done it on animals, and the longest time was 3 hours and 14 minutes after death. Naruto's eyes widened, and he grabbed Sasuke's wrist. Take us to the morgue. Sasuke focused, and all three of them winked out of existence. When they appeared in the morgue, papers flew everywhere and the floor was burned under their feet. Damn, it's confusing, catapulting 3 people. No time for that, let's go. Sasuke half dragged Sasuke down the hall, knowing where his sister was about to be cremated. Chapter 27, Consequences. Sasuke stood over Naomi, green energy pouring from his hands, his Rasengan blowing. It'd be a lot easier with 2 Razengans and a fresher body, but he had to make do. Minato appeared in a flash of yellow, and Kashina in tow. Naruto barely cast a glance at them, slowly focusing on his sister. Naruto was hugging him from behind, stroking his chest. I wonder where you two went. Ingebi told me you guys ran past him in the halls. Now I can see why. Can you do it? Minato asked Naruto, pointing at Sasuke, who was starting to sweat and breathe heavily. Naruto didn't look at his father, but he did reply. There's a slim chance. Her body has been sitting for a while, but we're hoping it hasn't been too long. Minato nodded in understanding. The Naruto felt Sasuke's chakra begin to dip lower than normal. Sit, Sasuke, use my chakra. Put your hand on my back. I'll do the rest. Naruto did, and a yellow light spilled from his arm and headed to flow into Sasuke, who stopped breathing heavily. Thanks, Sasuke whispered. Sasuke whispered, relieved. Ichi was kneeling in front of a man with long white hair. Oh, what's wrong with me? The white-haired man grinned. The blood of one of my children got in your bloodstream, and somehow your bloodline is mutating it. Ichi groaned in pain. The virus in his chest felt like it was fighting a new intruding parasite inside his body. The man knelt to eye level. The internal Mangekyou Sharingan. Interesting. I've got a better idea than allowing you to turn. You see, this isn't my body. The person I am is trapped. Too strong for me to simply leave. So I squeeze my soul through the keyhole. Essentially, I'm possessing this man at the moment. Doing so changed him into a demigod. Even when I leave his body, he will remain one. Your body is much stronger than his, so... He gripped the sides of Ichi's head, and a red smoke shot from his mouth and into Ichi's. Then Ichi stood, smirking at the white-haired man, who seemed thankful for him. The red and blue seals appeared on his skin, as the one of the other man's body darkened, and the red ones disappeared. Rise, child, I have a mission for you. Naomi's eyes fluttered open, and Kashina gripped her tightly, hugging her, crying heavily. Naruto smiled slightly as he helped Sasuke stand. Thanks, Sasuke. I really owe you one. Sasuke grunted and shook his head. You're my best friend. I'd do anything for you. I owe you, Minato bellowed. Minato bowed his head until it touched the floor. Name anything in the village and I'll try to get it for you. Do it for you. Sasuke nodded. Just make sure the knucklehead here and I stay on the same team. Don't want anything or need anything else, really. Minato nodded. I've seen the way you two work together. I'd never break that up. Sasuke then asked, have you seen my brother, by the way? Minato nodded at that. I sent him on an urgent mission. He should be back later this month. Naruto sat beside Naomi and smiled, tears in his eyes. You aren't allowed to ever do that again. Damn it. She smiled. Next time don't pass out on the battlefield, dummy. I used a move that killed a dangerous enemy. It took a lot of chakra, but I took out a serious threat of Bijun, Naruto explained. Ryzen looked in the mirror at his reflection. Give it up, Ichi. With me in here, you'll never break my grip. Ichi glared at the mirror. Maybe not today, but I will kill you. You won't use my body to kill the ones I love. This made Ryzen smile. You haven't got a choice, Uchiha. Hours later, Naruto slipped the black jacket of his Junin vest onto his shoulders and zipped it halfway up. Honestly, it's kinda cool, right, Sasuke? Sasuke nodded, smirking as he did his own jacket, zipping it all the way up. Naruto smirked. How's my sister, by the way? You shouldn't ask about your sister's sex life. Sasuke replied casually, joking to upset his friend. You had it with my sister! Naruto practically yelled, red cheeks. Sasuke scuffed. I don't know what you're talking about. Chapter 38, The Keys. Ryzen grinned. He just arrived at a strange-looking place in a canyon with no signs of life. There was a large, hollow, glowing ring standing on its edge. being held up by what looked to be golden statues of the 6 sage paths and his brother. The ring was almost 100 feet tall, and the air shimmered slightly around it. "Don't worry, brothers. I'll get you out as soon as I have the keys." Ryzen chuckled as he felt Ichi stir within him. Minato kicked Jiraiya's door with such force that it left it in splinters. "Jiraiya!" he yelled angrily, waking the sleeping pervert. "Kid, what are you doing here? Why aren't you in the village?" Naruto grabbed his face and teleported them to the kunai in his office. "Now we're both in the village," Minato said, glaring at Jiraiya, anger almost seeping through him. Jiraiya stood. "What's the deal with the rude wake-up? I was going to the hot springs later." Minato clenched his fist. "We were wrong. Kara isn't the chosen one." Jiraiya looked confused. "Impossible. It has to be one of your children. Are you saying it's not?" "It's Naruto!" Minato declared, intending to take the Toad Sage's head off. How do you know?" Jiraiya was stunned beyond belief. Minato leaned against his... "Yesterday, I saw him unleash chakra that was only his, and it raveled the Kyuubi's in raw power. He's got a sage cloak. He had the power to defy basic ninjutsu laws, and Naomi's temporary death triggered something powerful in him, something I doubt I could fight off. The power he wielded, it was unimaginable. I could feel his powers were still being restrained, probably so he didn't tear his body apart with them. He and Sasuke are in a league of their own." "Sasuke, the little Uchiha brat? How powerful is he?" Jiraiya asked. "It's difficult to say. He's got more abilities than Naruto, but far less chakra. The potential is practically limitless." Minato crossed his legs. "When you first told me the prophecy, I thought we'd be doing the right thing, but I see now that we were wrong. Naruto will either save or destroy this world. I think we might have tipped the scales closer to the latter." Then he grinned. "I'm as much to blame for the way we treated Naruto, but it will be a long while before I forgive you." Sasuke and Naruto squared off in a clearing a few miles from the village. "Sure you want to do this, Naruto? I've got a few tricks on my sleeve you still don't know about." Naruto nodded. "We never got to have a fight. I won't accept your help if you can't give me a good fight." Sasuke smirked, and his Rasengan eye began to glow, and his internal Mangekyo Sharingan began to spin wildly. "Fine by me." Naruto shot forward, aiming a fist at Sasuke's face, only to have it caught. The wind from the impact blew the grass in the field back, and Sasuke hurled Naruto back with gravity. "Use your cloak. With these eyes, I'm too powerful for you without it." Naruto chuckled, nodded, and immediately being surrounded by the golden chakra. "You asked for it. Kaze no Yari!" He wrapped his arm in a diagonal arc towards Sasuke, releasing a white, thin slash that cut a curve into the ground and spread towards Sasuke. Sasuke arched his infinity blade and matched their attack perfectly, canceling them both out. "In an elemental fight, you know I'll win." Then he teleported forwards, going for a side strike. Naruto's orbs fused together and became a pitch black kunai with no guard. He held it in a reverse grip, so he blocked the swing. "Damn, it's so hard to keep up with your teleportation." "Hard, but not impossible." He smirked as Sasuke vanished and reappeared directly behind him in the middle of an overhead strike. Naruto sidestepped to the right and threw his left fist back into Sasuke's cheek. This sent Sasuke stumbling and pushed his palms behind him and used gravity to stop his momentum. "Time to step up this fight. Shadow Clone Jutsu!" 6 Sasukes appeared around the original and surrounded Naruto. Sozons appeared around all of them except for the original. "You see all my Rasengan are leak, meaning I can see you through the other's eyes. Coupled with the protection of my Sharingan, I've got better vision than even the Bogan." The Soshan sprawled energy spears. The original Sasuke suddenly grinned, glowing purple, with armor that resembled that of a knight and glowing wings. Only the purple armor glowed much brighter than the Sanzuns. "Also, when I compress the Sanzuns like this, its defensive capability increased exponentially. Though I do take a hit on how much attack I can deal. No more talking, you're pissing me off. Naruto shot forward. So fast the ground shattered, and he rested his fist back. Sasuke met him in the middle. End of chapter 38.